Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central with another scary story. And what story will we tell tonight? Well, we shall see, just as soon as you go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. If you haven't done that already, now's the time to rock and steady. Go ahead and get ready. Let's do it while you can. Turn yourself right on into a fan while we make our last stand. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get to our words of wisdom for today. When trouble take you, pikney shoot for you. When trouble take you, pikney shoot for you. Now, let's see if we can interpret that one. That one is a little bit tough. When you find when trouble take you, pikney shirt fit ya. There you go. Pikney shirt fit ya. Okay. So let's see. There we go. It is ridiculous to contemplate the sight of a full-grown man fitting comfortably into a child's shirt. However, one can easily understand that when we're in trouble, we appreciate whatever help we can get to extricate ourselves, even if it's under a situation that we would have thought such help woefully inadequate. Wow. Boy, that was a mouthful right there, wasn't it? Okay. So, when trouble, how'd they say? When you find yourself in trouble, a child's shirt fits you. Or when trouble take you, pikney shirt fits you. Pikney shirt fits you. Okay. It's like learning a whole new language. Trust and believe that. Just like learning a brand new language. And we're going to master it before too long. But in the meanwhile, go ahead and master some of this. Haints and legends in the holler. Haints and legends in the holler. And tonight, our scary story is going to be about, oops, wait a minute, almost forgot. Let me go ahead and read. I said I was going to do a poem too tonight. Let me do a poem too. We're only going to read, this is going to be a two-part story tonight. So I know I'm not going to finish the whole thing. But let's read this right here. This one is called Labrish. Dear Cousin Joe, of course you know that Tom married the Vi. Me just come from the wedding dance and sleep there, fight me yeah. But me can't wait, me have a right. The Labrish wallet hot, massa, if you did there, yeah, what a time you would have got. 4 kerosene pan, a boiled corn, curry goat and rice and bread, all like you licky. You would have catch home dead. 2 big sized teapot full of wine, but them did just a waste. For rum and Coca-Cola was the star drink of the place. Them never got much cake for fruit, and buttered drought is on. But me never see more different kind of mango from me born. And everybody make big speech and praise up Tom and Vi, and Uncle Sam ball out and say that Tom must make reply. Tom stagger up and say him don't got nothing for reply, except for tell them say that all of them speeches so lie. Him say, him hear them talk about him courage and him pride, and to praise up Vi and call her lovely, charming, pretty bride. Him uncle hope that Vi won't swallow with them what them say about she, for her mouth lip hung ding down low like jackass under cool shade tree. Me round Me run go beg the bond for play and drown what him dare say. And so jibe sweet them one by one, the people them move way. Some go out upon the veranda and some out of the yard, and so the music pop sweet tune them Lego themself broad. Just guess how me enjoy myself, me tried now for true. Give James and Fine the labrish from your darling cousin Lou. Woo-wee. Miss Lou, Miss Lou. She make them sound so true. Yes, she do. And that is why they call her Miss Lou. I don't know what you were thinking, but that's the reason why. Okay, so let's read this one here. We got a couple stories to read, and we're going to start off with Hi, John the Conqueror. Way back during slavery time, there was a man named John. Hi, John the Conqueror, they called him. And he was what you call a man. Now, some folks say he was a big man, but the way I heard it, he wasn't no bigger than average height and didn't look no different than the average man. Didn't make any difference, though. He was what you call a B-man. Be here when the hard times come and be here when the hard times go. No matter how much the white folks put on him, John always survived. Now, John lived on this plantation in the middle of Mississippi. I'm not quite sure whereabouts in Old Town, Mississippi, but it must have been on one of them their cotton plantations up in what they call the Delta. John lived on one of them bad plantations. They had plantations so bad up in there, and the white folks were so mean that the rattlesnakes wouldn't even bite them, afraid they'd poison themselves. Snakes only bit niggas. White folks were so mean up there, they'd shoot a nigga just to bet on whether the body would fall frontwards or backwards, and then they'd go whoop the dead nigga's mama if the body fell the wrong way. That's the kind of plantation John lived on, but it didn't bother John none. He was a B-man. Wasn't no disputing that. How John loved living. And although he was a slave, he made up in his mind that he was going to do as much living and as little slaving as he could. He used to break the hose accidentally, of course. Set old Massa's barn on fire accidentally, of course. He always had a hard time getting to the field on time. And when he did get there, somehow the mule would accidentally tromp down a whole row of corn before the boss man knew what was happening. Old Massa was never sure, though, whether or not John was doing all this on purpose, because John would work real hard some years and make a very good crop. But the next year, seemed like everything he touched got destroyed, but the following year, he picked more cotton than anybody ever picked before. So the white folks were never sure just whose side John was on, and you better believe that that was the way John wanted it. You best believe. Now, it was after one of those seasons when John had really worked, and old Massa decided he would reward John for it. Maybe it would encourage him to do good work all the time, Massa thought. So he gave John an old mule and a patch of ground so John could raise a few vegetables of his own. John thanked Massa, but the last thing John wanted was a mule of his own. Why should he have to raise his own vegetables when he could take Massa's? Stealing was what you did if you took something from another black person. Anything you took from white folks was yours to begin with, because everything they had, they got because of you. So John really didn't want the old mule. All it meant was that Massa would expect to see him out there plowing up that little patch of ground, and John had had enough of work for a while. With all the work he'd done this year, he figured on not working hard for the next 5. So he started thinking how he was going to get rid of the mule Massa had gave him. Bright and early the next morning, John went down to the barn to hitch up his mule. He decided to hitch up Massa's best mule to his mule to make the plowing easier, and he went on out to the field and began plowing. Now, you know how stubborn mules are. There's some niggas like mules won't do right for doing wrong, even though they're really strong. Well, these were some show enough nigga mules, and every time the mules would balk, John would take his whip and hit Massa's mule. Whack! Get up there, Miss Ann. He'd named Massa's mule Miss Ann, and he'd hit that mule as hard as he could. Whack! What's wrong with you, Miss Ann? Act like you got some sense. Whack! But he never would hit his own mule. If John's mule acted like it was having a hard time, he'd stop and fan it and give it a sip of some Kool-Aid. Well, one of them old Uncle Tom niggas come by, you know the kind I mean. One of them house niggas who wore Massa's hand-me-down clothes. Them was the kind of niggas that would sell their grandmama if it meant they'd get a word of praise from the white folks. Them was the kind of niggas that just love white folks. They wanted to be white folks so bad that they always tried to walk in the shade. Walking in the shade wouldn't make them white, but at least they wouldn't get no blacker. Them kind of niggas loved old Massa even more than Massa loved himself. If Massa's house caught on fire, the house nigga would say, Massa, our house is on fire. House nigga barely had a house. If Massa was sick, house nigga would come around and say, Massa, we sick, ain't we? And you know that's how they are, because I couldn't make up nothing like this. From what I've heard, we got some house niggas with us today. If the people are talking about black power, it's the house nigga who runs down to the white folks and says, Boss Tom, Sally, Bob, and James are up there talking about this here black power. If the folks are talking about getting some guns to defend themselves from the police, the house nigga goes and tells the police. You know what I'm talking about. Living with a house nigga is worse than picking up a hungry rattlesnake and putting it inside of your shirt. Lord knows you wouldn't do that unless you want to get hurt. At any rate, it was one of them house nigga types who came by and saw how John beating on Massa's mule. Great God Almighty, he took off for the big house. Massa, Massa. Roy, what's wrong with you? Oh, Lord, Massa. Oh, Lord, you ought to see what I just seen. Oh, Lord, Massa. Well, nigga, stop all this nonsense and tell me what it is. Massa, John is down there in the field with your best mule, and he's whipping it like whipping is going out of style. Massa, you got to do something before John kills our mule. You have to understand that John was a field nigga. John had never set foot in Massa's house and wouldn't have if he'd had the opportunity. Only way John would have gone in the big house was through the window one night with a knife in his hand. John worked in the fields, and if Massa's house caught on fire, you could bet your bottom dollar that John had set it afire and was down behind the barn praying for a big wind. And if Massa got sick, John was praying that he died. I understand, too, that we got some field niggas running around today. Praise the Lord. Well, old Massa went marching on down to the fields to see if what Roy was saying was true. He got there, and old John was trying to carve his initials on that mule's backside. Whackety whack, 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 whackety whack, 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 whackety whack, 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 whackety whack, 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 whack. John was making that whip talk like Martin Luther King Jr. preaching in a windstorm. Old Massa turned right red in the face. You know how white folks look when they get mad. John, what you think you doing? Massa, I'm glad you come by, because I'm just plumb wore out trying to beat some sense into this mule of yours. I say gee, and he go haw. I say haw, and he go gee. I just can't do a thing with your mule, boss. Massa didn't know what to say for a minute, because he'd expected John to be apologizing and ajolopizing and maybe apologizing a little bit more. Well, John, what are you doing with my mule anyway? You didn't ask me if you could use it. Well, I figured you wouldn't mind a bit once you saw the vegetables I was going to be bringing you to your table. For a minute, old Master was sorry he'd ever laid eyes on a nigga. They were Excedrin headache number one. Wasn't no doubt about it. Well, John, if I catch you beating on my mule one more time, I'm going to kill your mule. What's that, Massa? I said, you beat mine, I'm going to kill yours. Well, Massa, if you do, I bet I beat you making money. Hello. Massa just looked at John, thinking he done lost his cotton picking mind. I don't know what nonsense you talking about, John, but hit my mule one more time and your mule gonna be dead. Massa wasn't out of sight when old John started in on Miss Ann one more time. Whackety whack whack, whackety whack, whackety whack whack, whackety whack, whackety whack whack, whackety whack whack, whackety whack whack, whackety whack whack. I mean, John just laid it on her that time. Massa came tearing back to the field. I told you, John, I told you. And he pulled out his knife and cut John's mule's throat. John shrugged his shoulders. Well, I guess I got to beat you making money now, Massa. Now, what Massa didn't know was that John was a conjure man. I mean, John could conjure anything. He was even better than Aunt Caroline Dye and Marie Laveau, and yes, even Mary Ellen Pleasant. And you know, she was one of the best. John could cast spells and cast them away. He could tell when a man was going to die and a baby be born. He could tell when a woman was doing what she wasn't supposed to do and a man was doing what he wasn't supposed to do. And if John had a good reason, he could make the birds sing at midnight and the dew fall at noon on a hot summer day. John was so famous that they even got a root named after him now called John the Conqueror root. And it's the most powerful root there is. Only thing more powerful than the John the Conqueror root is a black cat bone, you know what I mean. And John had one of them. Well, John cut off the mule's skin, dried it, and went into town to make him some money. He sat down on the lawn round the courthouse and started shaking his mule skin. Fortune telling, fortune telling, fortune telling, fortune telling, fortune telling, fortune telling. White man came up and said, nigga, can you tell fortunes? Yes, sir. If you tell mine, I give you $10. John shook the mule skin 3 times, held it up to his eye, shook it again, threw some dust on it, shook the dust off, and looked at that mule skin again. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Nigga, what you moaning about? No, it can't be. Nigga, what are you talking about? What do you see on that mule skin? John shook his head. Let me examine this real close, Massa. I don't want to be wrong about this one, boss. And he turned the mule skin upside down. Say the same thing this way, too. I'll be doggone. John slowly folded up the mule skin, boss. I just can't tell you. You wouldn't like it. Nigga, if you don't tell me, I'll kill you. John chuckled. You can do that if you want to, but then you never would find out. Now, would you? I give you $100. John thought for a minute. Boss, I'm just telling you what I saw on the mule skin. This is the mule skin talking, not me. And John went ahead and told him what he saw on that mule skin. And as for you, that mule skin is going to be a cool skin because it just got all cooled off, and we're going to have to wait for tomorrow till it heats up again before we'll be able to continue on with the story of High John the Conqueror. In the meantime, we plan to leave you with a smile for a while, and we're going to do it with style. But before we do that, we'd like to say to all the little children out there, go ahead and take your little head and lay it on your little pillow, on your little bed, while you close those your eyes and wait on that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you'll know that it's time for you to rise and shine, oh children of mine. And in the meantime, all you adults out there, you know what you need to do. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. That's where you're going to see me, a black cat with some bones, every single day and every single night, except on weekends, of course, which is coming up in a couple days. But for now, you can find me here, Doc Ock, noon and 9 Eastern Standard Time. Look for it. Be here. Don't miss out, because we have a story or two for you. And in the meanwhile, let me just give a wave and a shout out to Ronnie and the Fetty Red. All right, we will see y'all tomorrow, either at noon or at 9, if not both times. In the meanwhile, peace out without a doubt, with plenty of justice on the side. As we go on to the extra, because we got to do the extra.